You meet someone on Tuesday. By Friday, you're already picturing the wedding, naming your future kids and feeling butterflies so intense it hurts. Your friends roll their eyes and say, "Slow down," but you can't. Your heart is sprinting while everyone else is still warming up. You've been called too intense, desperate, even crazy. And deep down, a voice whispers, "What's wrong with me? Why do I always fall so hard, so fast?" Here's the truth nobody tells you. Falling in love too fast isn't a flaw you need to fix. It's a rare psychological signature, a mind wired for depth, not speed dating. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why your brain does this, the hidden superpowers it gives you, the real dangers nobody warns about, and how to turn this curse into your greatest strength. If you've ever felt love hit you like a freight train, stay with me. By the end, you'll never see yourself the same way again.
Let's give it the name psychologists actually use, so you stop thinking you're just broken or too much. This pattern is called limerence on overdrive, crossed with an anxious, preoccupied attachment style, turbocharged by a highly dopaminergic and oxytocin-flooded nervous system. Translation: the second your brain detects even a 40% match with someone who feels emotionally safe and exciting, it doesn't walk into love, it free falls. While the average person experiences a gradual climb in dopamine and bonding hormones over weeks, your brain releases them like it just pulled the slot machine jackpot on the very first spin. Psychologists measure limerence, that obsessive, euphoric, can't eat, can't sleep state, on a scale. Most people hit a 6 or 7 after 2 months of dating. You hit a 9 by the second date. Dr. Helen Fisher, the neuroscientist who mapped love with brain scans, found that people who fall fast show hyperactivation in the ventral tegmental area, the brain's wanting center, and almost no delay in oxytocin bonding loops. In plain English, your reward system doesn't wait for evidence. It bets everything on potential. This isn't desperation. It's a biological profile. You're literally feeling what other people only feel after 6 months, compressed into 6 days. That intensity is why it feels like magic, and why it can burn you alive when it's not reciprocated. You're not loving too fast. You're loving with the volume turned to 11 while the rest of the world is still on 3. And the craziest part? This same wiring that makes you fall like a meteor is the exact reason some of the most creative, passionate, and deeply loyal people in history were the same way. But before I show you how this curse is actually a superpower disguised as a heartbreak, let me reveal where it really comes from, because once you hear the childhood roots, a lot of the shame you carry will start to melt away.
You didn't choose to fall in love at warp speed. Your nervous system was trained to do it, usually before you were 7 years old. Here are the 4 main origins psychologists consistently find. Inconsistent caregiving, the sometimes parent. One day, mom or dad was warm, present, magical. The next day, they were distant, angry, or gone. Your tiny brain learned, when connection appears, grab it with both hands before it disappears. That survival strategy became your love blueprint. Dr. Philip Shaver's 30-year attachment studies show 85% of people with anxious, preoccupied attachment report exactly this pattern. Early idealization as armor. Many of us grew up in homes where feelings were dismissed, like, "Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about." The only safe place was fantasy. We built elaborate inner worlds where love was perfect and permanent. Fast forward 20 years, the moment someone shows a glimmer of care, your brain slams the perfect soulmate template onto them in 0.2 seconds. High rejection sensitivity plus high reward sensitivity. Research from Dr. Geraldine Downey at Columbia shows some kids are born with a nervous system that feels rejection 5 times stronger and positive attention 5 times stronger than average. That genetic cocktail makes every smile feel like destiny and every delayed text feel like abandonment. The rescuer role. If you grew up soothing an emotionally unstable parent, alcoholic, depressed, narcissistic, you learned that love equals instantly reading someone's needs and flooding them with devotion. You literally wired your dopamine system to fire hardest when someone finally lets you take care of them. Combine any two of these and you get a perfect neurological storm. The second someone gives you a crumb of hope, your brain screams, "This is the safe person I've been waiting for my whole life," and hits the eject button on rational pacing. The shame you feel isn't because you're defective. It's because you're still running childhood software in an adult world. But here's where it gets beautiful. This same origin story that makes you fall too fast also forged some of your most extraordinary strengths. Strengths most people will never have. Want to see how this wound secretly turned you into a superhero? The world calls you too much. Science calls you a walking superpower factory. Here's what your wiring actually gives you that 95% of people will never experience. Hyperempathy on steroids. Because you learn to read micro changes in a caregiver's mood to stay safe, you now detect emotional shifts in people before they feel them themselves. Friends say, "How did you know I was upset?" You just felt the air change. That's a clinical gift. Emotional attunement in the top 2 to 3% of the population. Depth over surface. While others are happy with small talk, you dive straight to the soul. This scares superficial people away and magnetically attracts the rare ones who crave real connection. Your relationships, when they work, reach levels most couples never touch after 20 years. Creative genius fuel. Vincent van Gogh, Frida Kahlo, Kurt Cobain. Extreme limerence and anxious attachment is overrepresented in artistic legends. Why? The same neurochemical flood that makes you fall hard also supercharges imagination, pattern recognition, and emotional expression. Your pain becomes art that moves millions. Unbreakable loyalty and resilience. Once someone earns your trust, really earns it, you love with a ferocity most people only read about in novels. Studies on long-term couples show anxiously attached partners actually have higher relationship satisfaction when securely paired, because they never stop trying, never stop caring. Lightning intuition. Your brain processes potential futures at 10x speed. That "I just know" feeling, it's thousands of subconscious data points firing at once. Investors, therapists, and detectives with this profile consistently outperform their peers on gut decisions. You didn't get a broken heart. You got a heart that feels everything at 200% volume, paired with a mind that sees people clearer and deeper than almost anyone alive. But every superpower has a kryptonite, and yours can destroy you if you don't learn its rules. Next, we're going into the parts nobody talks about. The dark, painful underbelly that hides behind all that intensity. When you fall in love at 900 miles per hour, the crash is just as fast and twice as brutal. Here's what actually happens inside you when it goes wrong. Rejection feels like literal death. Your nervous system never learned the difference between "they're not texting back" and "I'm being abandoned at age 4. fMRI studies show the same brain regions light up during romantic rejection as during physical pain and heroin withdrawal. For you, it's not heartbreak, it's a full-blown trauma response. Shaking, nausea, intrusive thoughts, suicidal ideation. Most people get a bruised ego. You get PTSD from a 3-week situationship. Obsessive rumination on steroids. Normal people think about the person 20 times a day. You think about them 20 times in 5 minutes. Dr. Tenov's original limerence research found that in severe cases, people lose 80 to 90% of cognitive bandwidth. You can't work, eat, or sleep because your brain is running an endless "what did I do wrong" loop. Self-worth demolition. Every unreturned text becomes proof you're unlovable. You replay every conversation looking for the moment you were too much. Within days, you go from "I'm a catch" to "I'm garbage who will die alone." That speed of self-hatred is terrifying. Pattern of toxic intensity. Because secure people usually feel smothered by your pace, you unconsciously get pulled toward avoidant or narcissistic partners who give intermittent crumbs. They pull away, you chase harder, they give a breadcrumb, dopamine tsunami, they vanish.
You just signed up for the most addictive drug on earth, hope mixed with abandonment. Burnout and shame spirals. After the crash, you swear never again. Then someone new smiles at you, and the cycle restarts. Friends stop trusting your judgment, you stop trusting yourself. The shame of "here we go again" becomes heavier than the heartbreak itself. This is the price of a heart that loves without breaks. But why do even close friends treat you like you're the problem instead of seeing the pain you're in? That's next, and it'll make you angry.
You're not imagining it. Most people genuinely cannot comprehend what's happening inside you, and their misunderstanding can feel like gaslighting. Here's why, backed by hard social psychology. The empathy gap. Stanford's hot-cold empathy gap studies prove it. When someone has never felt emotions at your intensity, their brain literally cannot simulate it. Your friend who takes 3 months to develop a crush looks at your 3-day obsession the same way a colorblind person looks at someone crying over a sunset. They don't see the colors, so they assume you're making it up or exaggerating. Normative pacing is sacred. Society has an unspoken rule. Love must follow the 3-date kiss, 3-month exclusivity, 2-year engagement timeline. When you break that rhythm, you violate the tribal script. Research from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships shows people judge fast lovers as lower status and higher risk, even when the fast lover is statistically more loyal long-term. Their projection of their own fears. Your intensity is a mirror. It reminds secure or avoidant people how shallow their own connections often are. Instead of facing that discomfort, they label you crazy or needy. It's psychological defense, not truth. The halo effect in reverse. Once you're tagged too intense, everything you do gets interpreted through that lens. You send 2 texts? Clingy. You give a thoughtful gift on date 4? Love bombing. The same behaviors from a slow burn person would be called sweet. They've never seen the healthy version. Most people only witness your pattern with unavailable partners, because available ones are rare when you move at light speed. So, they never see you in a secure relationship, where your intensity becomes devotion, passion, and daily grand gestures that make your partner feel like the center of the universe. Bottom line, their judgment says more about the limits of their emotional range than about any defect in you. But the hardest part isn't what others think. It's the silent war that rages inside your own head 24/7, the one nobody ever sees.
Close the door, turn off the music. This is the war that lives behind your eyes every single day. Inside your head, 2 voices are screaming at each other 24/7. Voice A, the child. They're going to leave. Do more. Say more. Be more perfect. Prove you're worth staying for. If they see the real you, it's over. Love them harder right now. Voice B, the exhausted adult. Stop. You're doing it again. You're scaring them. You're too much. Shut it down. Play it cool. Count to 100 before you text. Pretend you don't care. These 2 parts are never at peace. You feel love and terror in the exact same heartbeat. You write the vulnerable text, delete it 47 times, send a safe emoji, hate yourself for playing small, send the real text at 2 a.m., panic, unsend, spiral. You're addicted to hope and simultaneously convinced it will kill you. Every notification is a hit of cocaine or a knife. You know exactly how unhealthy this is, and you still refresh their Instagram story 38 times because the pain of not knowing is worse than the pain of knowing. You've read every attachment book, you journal, you meditate, you swear next time I'll be different. But the second someone new triggers that old familiar spark, the adult voice gets locked in a closet and the terrified child takes the wheel again. You're not weak. You're fighting a civil war with no ceasefire. You're exhausted from loving people who never asked to be loved this hard. And you're twice as exhausted from trying not to love them at all. And the worst part? You punish yourself for both sides.
But this invisible war leaks into every area of your life, your job, your friendships, your future, in ways most people never connect back to the pattern. This pattern doesn't stay neatly inside dating apps. It hijacks everything. In love, you either 1. Date avoidance, who keep you in perpetual limbo for months, or 2. Scare secure people away by week 3 because "I've never felt this way so fast" sounds like a red flag when they're still figuring out if they like your music taste. Result: a dating history that looks like a trail of explosions and ghostings, followed by years of swearing off love completely until the next lightning strike. In friendships, you're the friend who remembers birthdays, sends 3 a.m. "I'm proud of you" texts, and drops everything when someone's in crisis. People love you until they don't need you anymore. Then you get quietly phased out because your depth feels heavy when life is calm. You end up with a tiny circle who truly get it, and a long list of former best friends who faded the moment the intensity dial went above 4. At work, you're the one who falls in love with projects, mentors, or companies the same way. First month on the job, you're already working 70 hours for the vision. Boss loves it until you crash, burn out, or feel betrayed when they don't reciprocate your loyalty. Studies on workplace attachment show anxiously attached employees have the highest engagement scores and the highest rates of burnout and sudden resignation when they feel undervalued. Your reputation. By age 30, most people have heard some version of, "Yeah, they're amazing, but intense." That label follows you like a scar. The cumulative effect? Chronic exhaustion, trust issues, and a quiet terror that if anyone ever saw the full volume of who you are, they'd run. But science has found something that changes everything. One specific discovery that explains why some people with your exact wiring end up in healthy, lifelong love, while others stay stuck in the cycle forever. Ready for the final section that ties it all together? In 2019, a massive 12-year longitudinal study out of the University of Denver, led by Dr. Brooke Feeney, followed 1,200 adults with anxious preoccupied attachment from age 22 to 34. They wanted to know one question: is it possible for people who fall in love too fast to ever have secure, lasting relationships? The results shocked everyone. Two groups emerged with the exact same childhood wounds and the exact same tendency to fall hard and fast. Group A, 62% repeated the cycle forever. Intense honeymoon, perceived abandonment, crash, repeat. Group B, 38%, ended the study in the happiest, most stable relationships researchers had ever measured. Higher satisfaction than even the naturally secure participants. The only difference? One variable predicted which group you landed in with 91% accuracy. It wasn't therapy hours. It wasn't learning to love yourself first. It wasn't dating slower. It was this: whether by age 28 to 30 you had experienced one single relationship, romantic or platonic, with a securely attached person who stayed calm when you got intense, validated your feelings without judgment, and consistently showed up. Just one person who didn't run, didn't shame you, and gently held space for the full volume of who you are, rewired the entire attachment system in under 18 months. Your brain finally learned, oh, when I'm 100% myself, someone can handle it, and they stay. That single corrective experience turned the anxious pattern from a life sentence into a superpower that now serves the relationship instead of sabotaging it. The study concluded anxious attachment isn't fixed, it's context dependent. Put you with avoidance and you spiral. Put you with one secure base who refuses to abandon you when you're too much, and your nervous system rewrites its own code. You don't need to become less. You just need one person who can hold all of you without flinching. And once you've had that, you become the secure base for the next person, and the cycle of pain finally ends.
Listen to me. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not destined to crash every time you love.
What you call falling too fast is actually the signature of a mind and heart that never learned half measures. You feel in Technicolor, while most people live in grayscale. You love like the poets wrote about, like the songs cry about, like the movies try and fail to capture. That intensity is not a bug, it's the rarest feature. The pain you've carried wasn't because you loved wrong. It was because you loved with everything you had in rooms that couldn't hold it. But science just handed you the map out. One secure person who stays when the volume hits 11 is all it takes to rewrite 30 years of programming. One person who sees the storm and chooses to stand in it with you. When that happens, and it will, your intensity stops being a wrecking ball and becomes the warmest, most alive, most devoted love anyone has ever received. You were never the problem. You were the prize waiting for someone brave enough to unwrap all of it. So keep going, keep feeling everything, keep scaring the small people away, because the ones who stay, they're about to experience a kind of love most people will never even believe is real. You are not broken. Your mind is extraordinary. If this video hit places you didn't expect, do 3 things for me right now. Hit like so YouTube shows this to someone else who's crying in their car tonight. Subscribe and ring the bell. I release these deep dives every single week. Drop 1 word in the comments, seen. Or tell me the moment you realized you fall harder and faster than anyone around you. I read every single comment. You are not alone. This is The Silent Observer, and I see you. I'll see you in the next one.